your financial education, because it sounds like you take me as a very inquisitive person, wanted to know, when did your financial education begin, or did you come into the league with knowledge, right? So like, this is one of those, when I just heard you say that it was trash, my first thought was like, is this intentional? Right? Because if I don't educate you, then I can always use you as my customer, right? Until you become educated, and now you might see less people getting agents or less people going in a direction that somebody's pointing to them so they don't get taken advantage of. And so did you have to go through things to get your financial education?
I mean, it was a process for sure. You know, I mean, my dad was like he was an accountant. He worked for the IRS for a period of time. But you know, I mean, he did a lot of different things. He was making computers and stuff. But like one thing he did try to do was start businesses. And he taught us a lot about sales. But he didn't really teach us about business as a whole. You know, and he passed away while I was 17, and you know, I wish I could have probably picked his brain a little bit more because I felt like he had a lot of knowledge. Very smart guy. But you know, when I got to the NFL, you know, I mean, pretty much like, I mean, you're on your own. Nobody's telling you anything, and like, you know, it starts kind of like you pick a financial advisor just because you're supposed to, just because that's what everybody else is doing, and you pick a guy based off of, you know, just your network. Your network. You know, so my network was University of Miami. I picked a guy because of John Beeson, you know, and he was a first round pick the year before, and he went through the process I was getting ready to go through. So I asked him like, yo, who's your guy? And he told me his guy, and I had all these people coming at me. They all sound the same because I don't know anything. And so I hired his guy just because, you know, he hired him, you know, and it's kind of funny because, like, I remember having a conversation with him, and I asked him, like, what made you hire him in the first place? He said, I hired him because, I forgot who it was, but the person that he knew before him.
It was Jonathan Vilma. We just thought about you guys.
Yeah, and whoever it was, it might have been, you know. And, but it's just, you know, I asked him, like, did you do any due diligence? Like, what made you hire him? He was like, nah, you know, and I was like, well, I ain't doing no due diligence either. Like, we just hired a guy just for the heck of it, you know. Now, I mean, that guy, you know, might be, you know, a really good guy. You know, might have been a really good guy, you know, really good financial advisor. But at the time, I had no idea because I had no knowledge. And I worked with him for a couple of years, and then he, you know, he had a mistake that, you know, to me just was you couldn't have, and so I ended up firing him and hiring somebody else that was kind of a teacher to me. So the person I ended up was, you know, he tried to get my business, but I didn't go with him originally. But he stayed around, and like every time I had questions what the other guy was doing, the other guy kind of felt like he made it sound complicated, you know, and I was like, you know, I'm trying to understand it, so break it down for me. And then so, you know, the other guy that I ended up signing with more recently, and I've been with him the whole time since, he started like breaking it down for me, like, this is what this means, this is what that means, you know, this is why you do this, you know, and just started kind of going to it. And, you know, I mean, it was like, I mean, you know, so many different sectors of it that I'm like, man, I want to know it. So, you know, after a while, like, he started making it sound simple enough to me where I was like, okay, let me put some money with you, you know, and then it was like, you know what, let me put all my money with you, you know, so it kind of went away. But it's kind of funny though, because I won't say any names because the guy I originally went with, you know, he still has a lot of guys out there. And I try to talk to those guys individually about my story. And I don't think the guy is a shark from like my experience. So I think he's a good dude. I think he might have genuinely just made a mistake. But back then, like, they would encourage you to like, pay your bills for you. And so like everything was just going through an account that he was setting up. So I didn't even, like, you don't have to look at it if you don't want to. He's paying for everything. And then one day I'm going through my stuff because you know, I had knew enough to audit myself. Like, I was just gonna go through my account and really check and see what was being spent off all my bills. I'm going through my stuff and I see $50,000 just missing. I don't know what it's going for. So I call him up and he was like, oh, I'm gonna take out one of the other players' accounts. You know, I just made a mistake. You know, I'm gonna put it back in right now. And he did. And you know, and to me it was just like, I don't know if you're incompetent.
Where did it go?
He said it was for one of his other players' grandfathers or something.
Oh, he sent it to another play. He sent it to another situation.
Yeah, it was supposed to be at another player's account going to his grandfather, according to what he said. And to me, it's just like, you know, you can't make that mistake. You know, if I don't go on and look at this, you know, I mean, you know, and I just end up missing it, you know, and I don't know, I can't, I mean, you're telling me that it was just an honest mistake, but from outside looking in, either you were trying to get over on me, or you just, you know, genuinely you just were incompetent.
It's like the movie Casino. You have Casino?
Yeah.
When Sam Rothstein, he fired the guy at the slot machine. They was robbing the slot machine, and he set him down. He said, "It's one or two things that's happening here. Either you're in on it, or you're incompetent to realize what's going on. Either way, I can't trust you at this point."
Exactly.
It just is what it is.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta let you go.
Yeah.
You sure you want to do that, Sam?
Didn't work out. Didn't work out
well. Hiring somebody is tough though. Like, you ain't, like, I'm a football player. You know, I ain't no CEO. I ain't no, you know, businessman at the time, at least. You know, I'm a football player. That's all my knowledge is, you know. And I went to school for advertising. Like I didn't go to school for business or nothing. So the whole process was like it was hard, you know. It was an adjustment, you know. But then, you know, after you go through it, like, oh, I want that bad, you know. Like you just got to go through it, you know. And so I ended up going with another guy that he was teaching me and stuff, and we've been together ever since. And he's been a great mentor for me, and we've done, you know, a lot of great things together. And I mean, now I feel like my knowledge, to be able to speak the language and understand it, is, you know, I mean, way better than you know it has been. And probably, I feel like I could sit in any room and have a conversation with any businessman and hold my own.
After that, did you stop with the bill payment?
Yeah, no, never more. I pay my own bills. Sometimes my credit could have been a lot better because there's definitely times just because being human,
just forgot
opening my mail and stuff and missing things.
Yeah,
and I had to deal with, you know, missing some bills and, you know, having to pay them later and stuff. So I mean, I'll take that though. I'd rather, you know, my credit score be, you know, 700 instead of 850 because, you know,
you forgot to pay
for some bills or you know, whatever it may be. So